Back in the day, we used to go to the local video store. You could only get a title if somebody else wasn't using it. You had a limited amount of time to watch it. The experience is very, very limited. Today, we have streaming services, 1 million films at a touch of a finger, and very few people will go back. Telephone boxes were the only way to communicate or phone anybody. Often they were vandalized. You had to have the correct change. Not a great experience. Whereas mobile phones, you can phone anybody at any time. Really, really effortless technology. Technology has changed so much over the decades. It's that sort of step change that Thought Machine brings to the banking world. Nearly all technology that everybody uses or experiences today runs in the cloud. Banks are one of the few exceptions that don't. Thought Machine's mission is to get the banks off the old technology and get them into the cloud so they can run the most modern technology available. I was born in Belfast in Northern Ireland. My first love was actually music and playing in bands. As a teenager, I programmed computers. My parents bought me a computer, they bought me an electric guitar. Those are my two passions. I remember my mother famously saying that you might make a living out of playing the guitar, but you're never going to make a living out of computing. I liked linguistics, and I moved from different institutions. I was at Edinburgh University, I was at Cambridge University, but I was effectively doing the same thing every day. I was programming computers. I got deep experience in cloud computing, and from the start, it just blew me away. You know, from a very embryonic stage. In the traditional model, if something goes wrong in the data center, people have to go and fix the computer. What happens in the cloud is that there is software that actually runs the data center. The software anticipates all the problems that can go wrong and fixes it. And as an engineer, that's just such a beautiful way of doing things. That was the genesis of Thought Machine as a company. Thought Machine is a B2B technology company. The problem we're trying to address is to fix banks' legacy technology problems. All the world's banks are stuck on legacy technology. Mostly it's mainframe computers, which are large static computers built in the pre-internet era, and they're built for a very inflexible world of banking. At its heart, a core banking engine contains the ledger and it contains the product engine of the bank. Now, the ledger is a database, but that is where the money is stored. In our heads, we might think that banks have vaults which store cash and things like that, but really they're stored in these databases. So traditionally, banking was pretty simple. You had a current account, or you might have a mortgage, or maybe a credit card. But in the modern world, there's many more options and many more consumer choices available. The legacy technology in these banks has failed to keep up with the innovation. When they built something new, they built it on top of the old system. And the next thing they built was built on top of that, and the next thing they built was on top of that. The end effect of all this is what is often referred to as spaghetti technology. And when you look at the system as a whole, it is far too complex. And because it is too complex, there isn't an overall understanding of how it works, and that makes it difficult to change, and it increases the risk when you do make a change if something goes wrong. What Thought Machine decided to do was, instead of working in the app space, we were going to work in the platform space. And what we were going to do was build new platforms for banks that would replace the legacy technology and allow them to have a far, far cleaner, faster, easier to change platform. And in so doing, we would let the banks innovate in terms of the products they have, also offer a far better user experience.
And how much do you think that they spend on business?
My name is Samir Sabharwal. I work for Standard Chartered Bank, responsible for their CPBB business in Asia and also responsible for the global digital business. First and foremost, the clients expect the banks to be trusted with their data and wealth. They also expect frictionless banking with exceptional user experience. Our partnership with Thought Machine started when we chose Vault to be the core banking engine for Mox Bank in Hong Kong. What Vault does is enables us to build a modern, modular technology stack that is cloud native. Cloud computing is cost efficient and flexible. We only pay for capacity that we need. In case we need to ramp up capacity, it can be done at a short notice, as compared to an on-premise infrastructure that is inflexible and more expensive. Cloud also supports us with data and cybersecurity, as well as resilience, which is really important for banks like Trust and Mox. Banks will also continue to partner with big tech and fintech to offer more innovative products and services.
The goal is, when banking works, people shouldn't notice it. It should be in the background. It just works. Thought Machine was founded in London and it's grown in London, but I also take huge pride in the fact that we're now an international operation. There's a huge awareness of what Thought Machine brings to the world now. There's a huge interest in cloud technology. We expect thousands of banks to move to the cloud in the next few years, and it's going to be very difficult for them if they don't.